is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
First at 11, we are watching the radar and the roads as a wintry mix fills in parts of central Indiana. Good evening to you. I'm Amanda Starrentino. We're going to get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with a Storm Team 6 alert. Kevin.
And Amanda, so far temperatures in our favor. We're above freezing now, but they'll be near freezing in the morning. I'm not anticipating a big problem, but watch bridges and overpasses especially. Some very light snow, Crawfordsville to Kokomo, Peru. I think if we see any mix tonight, we would mix in some sleet with the very light snow. This will continue to diminish as we go through the overnight. You look at this just with me, temperatures closer to 34 or 35 than the freezing mark for now, but I think in the morning we'll work our way down close to freezing. Tomorrow we'll see the second round and more significant round move in the afternoon and evening. As far as waking up in the morning, the light wintry mix will have pushed to the south and east, and our temperatures at or slightly below freezing. It's not until late in the afternoon that the next push of moisture shows up our way. That's 6 o'clock. I'll finish the timeline and look beyond coming up.
And it's really just about creating that space for women to have a voice, to be able to raise their hands and to be able to ask for what they need and for it to be okay for them to have those needs.
Tonight, we are taking a closer look at how a local business welcomes new mothers back to work, even though certain accommodations will not be required by law this year. It was a priority for Governor Holcomb this legislative session, but instead of taking action, lawmakers want to take time to study a possible measure that would require Indiana employers to make certain accommodations for women who are pregnant or have recently given birth. Supporters of the requirements say it would help improve the state's infant and maternal health rankings. Opponents are concerned about the impact some of the requirements might have on small businesses. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shares this story for us tonight.
All right, so yes, we've got our little mother's room in here.
A room with a mini fridge for breast milk, a place to store breast pumps, a pumping in progress sign, and a comfortable chair. You might think we're in a women's health clinic, but actually,
it's so important to have these spaces because women need to be supported when they come back to the workplace.
This mother's room is at the marketing-focused consultancy Lev in downtown Indianapolis. Their director of marketing, Holly Inneking, is sharing why having a room for moms to pump breast milk is important.
And it keeps those really talented women in the workforce rather than forcing them out and making them feel like they don't have a space.
Holly says decisions like this are the norm at Lev because of the people who work there.
One of the things that we're really proud about at Lev is that our workforce is actually 51% women, and our executive team is evenly split at 50% men and 50% women.
She knows that isn't how many companies are made up, but believes as we progress toward a better future, businesses who want to create a good working environment for everyone should take notes from those already doing things like this.
There's a lot of value that women can add to any workplace, and really it's just about asking women what will make their lives easier as they're trying to transition from pregnancy to being working mothers.
Working for you in Indianapolis, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
A bill introduced in the Senate would have made things like a private space and time for pumping, unpaid time off, work to recover from childbirth, and more frequent or longer breaks for pregnant women mandatory. But the bill was amended yesterday to study those requirements, and that version passed in the Senate today. Governor Holcomb says he remains committed to improving infant and maternal health in the Hoosier State. An Indianapolis mother is thankful her son is safe tonight after he was inside her car when it was stolen. Police are still searching for that suspect. RTV6's Cameron Riddle explains how mother and son were reunited and how a safety reminder for your family is so important.
Good evening. A 2-year-old boy is okay after he was in a stolen car. His mother parked her car right in this parking lot here at the animal hospital and briefly went inside of those doors. But in that short amount of time, someone who wanted to steal her car hopped behind the wheel with that baby still in the back seat. As you can imagine, that mother was panicked when she saw her car leaving the parking lot. At 3:27, she dialed 911 as she flagged a passing driver coming down the street. Those two got into a pickup truck together and chased her stolen vehicle. At some point, they could no longer find that vehicle. Police were in the area, and eventually they got another 911 call, this time at 3:49 from a neighbor next door to a church near Miller Street and Belmont on the city's near south side, saying a man just knocked on my door and said that there's a baby in the car behind my house at the church. We talked with that woman earlier this afternoon. She did not want to go on camera, but said the man only said that and then quickly disappeared. Within minutes, police arrived at that location to find the baby sitting safely and unharmed in the back seat of that stolen vehicle. Now, again, that baby is okay. Mom is okay. That suspect left the scene and has not been seen since. He is still on the run tonight. Police have not given us a suspect description of that person. But as the temperatures drop back down tonight and into tomorrow, it was 60 degrees this morning, but tomorrow morning it will be back cold, and we will be back starting our cars, and a lot of us will be leaving them running in our driveways. Unfortunately, this serves as a reminder to, if you are going to warm up your car tomorrow morning, to make sure that the doors are locked and that if at all possible, you keep it somewhere where you can see it so that no one else is able to take your car like what happened earlier this afternoon. Working for you in Indianapolis, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And new at 11, firefighters say a bucket of gas and incense started a fire at an auto shop on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Crews were called to the businesses on Franklin Road and 38th Street just after 3:30 this afternoon. No one was hurt. 2 employees told investigators they emptied a gas tank in a car and put the gas in a bucket. When fumes became too strong, they lit incense to help with the smell. Firefighters say embers from the incense got into the bucket and the gas caught fire. A fire on the south side injured 3 firefighters and a civilian. Crews were called to a home on Keystone near Troy Avenue just after 6 o'clock this evening. It took about 30 minutes to get it under control. 1 firefighter was checked on the scene after falling through the attic to the first floor. Investigators say none of the injuries were serious. The full results of the Iowa caucuses are still a mystery at this hour, a full day after voting. The data released so far shows former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg with a slight delegate edge over Senator Bernie Sanders. ABC's Trevor Alt reports as the candidates wait for a winner to be declared. They're moving on to New Hampshire.
For the Democratic presidential candidates, Iowa's now in the rear view, but the results of the state's caucuses, our first votes of the 2020 race, are just now coming to light.
As chair of the party, I apologize deeply.
Tuesday afternoon, the Iowa Democratic Party revealing that with 62% of precincts reporting, former Mayor Pete Buttigieg sits atop the delegate race, narrowly edging out Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Elizabeth Warren coming up in 3rd right now, with former Vice President Joe Biden trailing in 4th. Still more than a 1/3 of the precincts left, but the numbers seeming to back up Buttigieg taking an early victory lap.
We are arriving with the momentum in the 2020 presidential campaign right now, and we had a victorious night in Iowa that shocked the public.
Senator Sanders was also banking on an Iowa bounce, and his frustration Tuesday was noticeable.
We should all be disappointed. There's no excuse for not having results last night.
But former Vice President Joe Biden, perhaps looking to put Iowa behind him, says there's no rush.
Let's give them time. We don't know precisely how many delegates we have or how many we'll get, but I feel really good about getting more than our fair share.
The New Hampshire primary now just a week away. It's a state Senator Bernie Sanders won pretty decidedly in 2016, and recent polls show him in the lead again, but by a much more narrow margin and a still very crowded Democratic field. Trevor Alt, ABC News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Working for you, RTV6 is raising awareness about a program that helps people who cannot make decisions for themselves.
Another concept that a lot of people don't realize is the number of seniors that get dropped off at a nursing home, and the family member or friend does not come back ever.
Her work at a nursing home inspired Lauren Reinerson to get involved with the Volunteer Advocates for Seniors and Incapacitated Adults program, also known as FASEA. The program provides court-appointed advocates to help people in need make financial and medical decisions. Anyone can refer a person for this. After that, they're evaluated by a physician. Then a judge makes the decision to appoint a volunteer.
Without this program, it's going to negatively affect the community. Especially nursing homes as well, because if you have a resident that has nobody to make these decisions or to help guide them or have that relationship of trust, what can a nursing home do?
You can find referral forms and information about volunteering on our website, theindychannel.com, or the RTV6 app. A Noblesville woman is taking litter into her own hands. Now she's calling on others and the city to do their part. Anytime Christine Brewster leaves her home, she's armed with gloves and a trash bag. She's been doing it for 3 years, picking up discarded coffee cups, water bottles, cigarette butts, and more. She says lately the problem has gotten so bad she can't keep up.
People actively talk about this town, from Carmel, from Fishers, how awful it is, the trash in this town. That's embarrassing to me. People should be embarrassed who live in this town.
Noblesville officials tell RTV6 the city has an ordinance to prevent littering. The new administration says 2 people are currently building relationships with downtown business owners in an effort to enhance and preserve the area. That includes removing litter. Next week, you can learn more about 4 new roundabouts coming to the south and southeast sides of Indianapolis. The Department of Public Works will share plans to transform intersections at Stop 11 Road and Combs Road, Stop 11 Road and 5 Points Road, 5 Points Road and Edgewood Avenue, and Sherman Drive and Thompson Road. An open house on Monday, February 10th, starts at 5:30 at Franklin Central High School. State, city, and Indianapolis International Airport leaders are planning an announcement tomorrow. It will be made at the JW Marriott during the Routes Americas 2020 conference. The annual meeting brings together hundreds of airport and aviation executives from around the world and helps lay the foundation for new air routes. Tomorrow's announcement is set for 11 a.m. Look for details on the IndyChannel.com and on the news at noon. Coming up, another push from Eskenazi to hire Hoosiers, how nurses and technicians can get an in-depth look at what it's like working for the health network. And a bold moment from the Speaker of the House after President Trump's State of the Union address. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Big money at Menards. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Welcome back. Senators will vote tomorrow in the impeachment trial of President Trump, but in tonight's State of the Union address, the president kept his speech looking forward. ABC's Serena Marshall reports.
Walking into the chamber that impeached him less than 2 months ago,
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
The president apparently giving the speaker who led the charge the brush off, not shaking her hand. It's been 111 days since the two met in person or even spoke. But the president quickly pivoting, moving to tout his accomplishments in what he dubbed the Great American Comeback.
Jobs are booming, incomes are soaring, poverty is plummeting, crime is falling.
But the partisan divides of Congress on full display. His caucus giving him their full endorsement. The other side, not so much. The first bipartisan standing ovation,
Mr. President,
when the president surprised the chamber, announcing his guest, Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido. Then the president turned to health care.
I've also made an ironclad pledge to American families. We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions.
Democrats jeering, pointing at the president and yelling, "You," likely referencing his Justice Department's decision to fight the Affordable Care Act, which currently is the only law to protect pre-existing conditions. Then Democrats chanting in support of a bill to lower the cost of prescription drugs, passed by the House, stalled in the Senate. The president presenting Rush Limbaugh, who revealed Monday he has advanced lung cancer, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, given by the First Lady.
The producer president creating many heartwarming made-for-TV moments during that address, while also using it as an opportunity to speak directly to his base. The House Speaker, with a little theater of her own, dramatically ripping up the speech as he wrapped it up. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Serena Marshall, ABC News.
And President Trump did not mention the impeachment trial in his speech, but Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer did in her Democratic response.
As we witness the impeachment process in Washington, there are some things each of us, no matter our party, should demand. The truth matters. Facts matter. And no one should be above the law. It's not what those senators say. Tomorrow, it's about what they do that matters. Remember, listen to what people say, but watch what they do. It's time for action.
And Whitmer focused her speech on action, specifically health care, infrastructure, and even school shootings. For more on the State of the Union and the Democratic response, go to our website, theindychannel.com. All signs of construction outside the Indiana War Memorial in downtown Indianapolis are gone. A $2.9 million project to replace granite and limestone on the roof took about 2 years. The work closed the stairs outside the memorial, and scaffolding was up around the building for quite some time. It is nice to drive by and actually be able to see that beautiful building now.
Yep, and if you ever go up the stairs, you'll be surprised at the elevation and the view that you get from there. You won't be surprised by the cold temperatures in the morning. We've got those now. Yesterday was our second day in a row in the 60s. We fixed that, haven't we? 34 in Indy now, 32 in Crawfordsville. Temperatures will be on the edge really for the next 24 hours, on the edge of freezing, and that will be the determining factor on how roads either become quite slick or we squeak by with temperatures at or just above freezing. Overnight, I don't anticipate too much of a problem. This is very light. Some flurries and light snow may mix with a little sleet at times. Watch for slick spots in the morning with temperatures around 30. We get a break through the morning hours. It's in the afternoon and evening that the more significant push of moisture will come our way, and that will increase the chances for accumulating snow, light freezing rain, and also some sleet. But I do think we'll have some rain as well, especially in the southern half of the viewing area. From Terre Haute to Indy to Muncie, northwest, that's where the best chance for accumulating snow will be. And again, the more northwest you go, the closer you might get to a 3-inch amount, an inch or less than for areas south and east of Indy. There's the strip of potential freezing rain with this. Temperatures tomorrow right at the freezing mark first thing in the morning. Then as we get to the afternoon, 35 or so. And this is what I'm talking about, with temperatures hanging out right at that freezing mark, maybe dropping slightly below. And that will make a big difference on what will become quickly changing road conditions once temperatures slip below freezing. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the nose of the moisture just arriving Terre Haute to Bloomington to Seymour. 7 p.m., snow western portions of the state along the Wabash River, a wintry mix through the metro area, and some rain to the south. Then you can see a period of some freezing rain in the metro. Snow continues to the north, rain in the southeast, say between Greensburg and Cincinnati. That will be the main push, I think. Then as we go overnight, just some lingering snow to the north. There's your snowfall potential as I show you Lafayette, Logansport, the most likely spots to maybe see 3 inches. It diminishes quickly as you come south and east from there. You can follow all the changes on our Storm Shield app. It is free, and the RTV6 app as well. Thursday will emerge potentially with a little mix in the morning and then dry through the day, but temperatures cold in the 30s, about 31 or 32 for the afternoon high. Friday, 31, as we mentioned. Then as we get to the weekend, chance of a rain-snow mix Saturday, 34. Dry Sunday. Back into the 40s as we get to Monday, and almost 50, Brad, next Tuesday.
We will look forward to that, Kevin. Thanks, and good evening, everyone. The Pacers have lost 2 of 3 with Victor Oladipo back in the lineup, but they are making some changes in that regard. Coach Nate McMillan saying today Vic's minutes will go up to 28 per game from 22. He's also considering starting Oladipo perhaps as early as this week. Victor's been struggling to find a rhythm with the minutes restrictions, shooting just over 20% from the field and only 3 of 21 from three-point range. A couple of those, though, were long 30-footers, scoring just over 8 points per game. Those numbers will most likely all improve, though, given time.
We're still learning each other. I mean, it took us some time to get it going, even our first couple games when I wasn't playing in the beginning of the year, so we'll figure it out. We just got to stay positive and just continue to keep working hard. It'll eventually come. It'll click.
Pacers play in Toronto tomorrow night. The Raptors are here on Friday. Butler's certainly getting a full dose of the Big East. After a 3-0 conference start, the Dogs have lost 4 of 6, and they will have another tough task with 10th-ranked Villanova here tomorrow night. The Wildcats won the first meeting in Philadelphia just 2 weeks ago. Butler could be getting a key player back tomorrow night, though. Guard Aaron Thompson has missed the last 3 with a wrist injury suffered, as it goes, in that last game against Nova. AT talking today about what he hopes to bring to the lineup once he's ready.
Every game in the Big East, especially, is going to be tough, so we can't take a night off. But yeah, it'll be fun. I know everybody else talking about it around here, and so yeah, it'll be fun for everybody else. But for us, just another opportunity to measure ourselves.
Next week, the schedule gets brutal. Butler has to play Marquette, Xavier, and Georgetown in a 7-day span. Opening night of the girls' basketball state tourney. Let's take you to Westfield, HSC, and Carmel. In this one, Greyhounds in the white jerseys. Bridget Dunn the turnaround for 2. But HSC's Sydney Parrish might be Miss Basketball this year. Pulls up, hits the 3. That finished off the first half. Royals up 7 at the break. She picks up where she left off in the third. Parrish switches hands, scores. 25 points leads the way. HSC wins at 51-44. Their 21st win of the season. They get Noblesville on Friday. And let's get a look at the 3A sectional at Chittard. Lebanon getting an early lead in their matchup against Brebeuf. Gabrielle Brewer passed down to Ashlyn Terrell for 2. And then Alexis Wines fires for 3 with the bounce. It's good. 42-16. Lebanon will face the hosts on Friday night in the semis. The tourney continues tomorrow. We continue the news at 11 after another break.
Now at Ashley Home Store, this is home.
Eskenazi Health is hiring Hoosiers. A nursing and imaging recruitment event will be held next Tuesday. It goes from 3 to 6 at the downtown hospital campus. The event is open to all imaging professionals, registered nurses, and RN students who will graduate in May. Eskenazi says it's an opportunity to learn more about working for the health network and the benefits it offers. For more information on how to RSVP, go to hiringhoosiers.com and click on Career Resources page. Now to the countdown to Oscar night. It's just 5 days away. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports some stars are making an Academy Awards comeback while others are facing off in top categories.
The Oscars, always a star-studded celebration, but this year especially, with some of show business's most revered veteran actors facing off against one another. In the Best Supporting Actor category, every nominee is a household name.
The Best Supporting Actor category this year is completely stacked with acting legends. And remarkably, Brad Pitt is the only one who doesn't have an acting Oscar.
His first Oscars nomination was in 1996. The other nominees have been in the running off and on even longer. This is the second time the Irishman co-stars Al Pacino and Joe Pesci have faced off. The icons went head-to-head for Best Supporting Actor 29 years ago.
Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
You're very popular.
Until now, Anthony Hopkins hadn't been nominated in 14 years. And this is Tom Hanks' first nod from the Academy in 19.
And so it was like, that was very, very cool.
And when you realize it's with all these other...
Oh, no. So good. So much fun.
Mama, please don't go to sleep now. No. There's the other one. It's also an Oscars comeback in the Best Actress category. Renee Zellweger nominated for the first time since winning Best Supporting Actress in 2004. Alluding to that during her Golden Globes acceptance speech this year for her role in Judy.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you. Y'all look pretty good 17 years later.
And 17 years after her last Oscars nomination, Kathy Bates is in the running for Best Supporting Actress. Among her competition, Laura Dern, who's also no stranger to the Academy Awards spotlight.
I think having had the experience makes anything less scary and odd.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Find out who takes the gold Sunday at 8 o'clock, only on RTV6. We'll be right back.
At our Brownsburg Superstore.
Temperatures right at freezing or slightly below. That means watch out for isolated slick spots. Then late in the day, another push of what will become, I think, some rain, sleet, and snow, and a period of freezing rain. I'd say tomorrow evening, 5 to about 11 o'clock will be the most active time period.
Looks like February.
Yeah, feel like it too.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.